Hello YouTube, my name is Natero and today I wanted to talk about the Project Cars Stancework DLC that just came out Friday for all consoles. I believe even Xbox got it on time as well. I'm going to do my three favorite cars from this DLC. There are two cars that I'm not really going to mention. They are the BMW 2002 Turbo Stancework car, and then I honestly forget the other one, but I haven't paid too much attention to them. I don't feel like they really are that groundbreaking. I mean, I guess they kind of are, and to some people they may. So I apologize they're not in this video, but I did my three favorites, and that is, the first one at least, is Mad Mike's RadBull MX-5 Mazda. This thing is a handful, but it is the most fun you'll ever have in any car. It is, I don't know, I've never even really heard of Mad Mike until Project Cars was talking about this thing. And people were saying they really wanted this car, and I'm like, well, I don't know, what's so special about it? And then you get it, and it's like, oh my gosh, this car is amazing. Right down to the sound, the look of the car, and then just the feeling of it. It's very hard to drift around every corner, but like, even when you're doing it wrong, it just, I don't know, it's something about it. So like, even though this DLC is $5, I still recommend highly on getting it because it is just an amazing car. What's cool is it's sponsored by Red Bull, so why not? As I always say, get all the DLC for this game as it helps the developers out for the next one, and believe me, SMS is not trying to chip us off in any way. They are trying to be helpful. Up next, though, is a highly anticipated car for me, is the KTM Expo. Now, I think it is the Expo racing version. I don't think it's their street version, even though it's in the road cars. I don't know. They have two different versions, the Expo Racing and then the Expo Street. I'm not quite sure if this is the racing version because it says like this is the one paint scheme with the racing version on it. I'm not quite sure why it's in the road cars, but I'm not sure. Although I do know this is from GT6 as well, and I loved it in GT6. It was very hard to control in GT6. You had to be very on edge with it, and you always ended up having to tighten the back end of the car a lot just because it had so much tire spin. In this game, it feels a little bit more grounded and a lot more enjoyable to drive. It's still very loose on the gas, and it kind of makes it a little bit more enjoyable too. I feel like this DLC, specifically with these two cars, they were focusing on the looser side of cars, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of my own thought. It doesn't really mean much. I feel like this car, though, is my favorite out of the DLC, just because I do enjoy this car, and I like motorcycles, and KTM is my favorite company. Even though I don't even have one of their dirt bikes, I like them a lot. So it's kind of cool to see them enter into the racing realm with the KTM Expo. I don't know much history about these cars. I wish to tell you more. This is a DLC I wasn't really all that sure about. The only one I really knew about was the Ford Falcon V8 Supercars, because I've watched the races at Bathurst once in a while. Well, actually, probably like one or two races. Those are like the only cars I really know about. So speaking of the V8 Supercars, that's what I'm going to talk about next. These are also amazingly fun. I wish they were on the left side. The cockpits were on the left side. I really do enjoy the cars, though. I again, don't know much about them. I like how they don't have any front downforce when you go into the setups and stuff. You kind of have just the back, which makes it for some interesting getting off the corners, because you don't have that front grip. I mean, it has front grip, but it doesn't have, like, you can't adjust it. Like, if your front end isn't sticking that much, you kind of have to work around it with, like, spring rates and stuff. And I've had some really good races lately. I've seen full lobbies of 12 to 16 people just racing these things. And some people put down some blistering laps. Like, usually if you practice long enough, you can get down some lap times similar to, like, you know, like when you go to Monza and they're running the F1s or GT3s and they're like 3 seconds faster than you. If you start trying really hard and, you know, putting in some solid laps and learning, I mean, you can learn really fast. It's Monza. At Monza, you can really learn how to drive those cars really fast. This car, it's really hard. Like, you really have to be on your A game, lap in and lap out, to try and nail those perfect laps. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. Overall, I wouldn't say this is my favorite DLC that's come out for Project Cars. It is really fun. I think they did a good job on the DLC. I think my favorite is either the Audi Mojave test track or the Lotus. If you want to know about the track that came out with the Stancework DLC, I'll be doing that in a later video, which would probably come out Monday. I also want to say sorry for the lack of videos lately. I've been working a lot, so this video isn't going to seem as good as some of my other ones. Although I want to say thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe on my video. It helps me out. I enjoy making these videos. I never want to stop. And this is Montero. And I say, see you next time.